Hey guys, and welcome back to the World War II Solitaire board game channel. And it's finally time to play British Tank Ace. So I'm all set up here to play. There's a few things you don't see on camera here, but there's not really essential things. We have our operations map here to the left, which is it has the sequence of play, which is good, and then it has this one, the North African one, has 9 markers for operations, and the first one is in September 1940, which is Sid Barani, but we start in June 1940, so this is really not very relevant for our current playthrough. Other thing is that we have our little doll here, which we put our war trophies on, medals and ranks and such. Again, not very essential. The heart of the game is going to be the battle board, our tank card of our current tank, and our mission log sheet. So we're going to play the first campaign, which is North Africa. Then you also have Italy and Europe. There is a possibility to go from North Africa to Italy or Europe if you so wish. And we'll see when we get there, if we can survive the North African campaign, because this tank that you start with has paper armor, 2 in armor value of all the values, the turret, the hull, the side. Well, we're gonna start, by the way, with our commander here, and we're gonna go to tank school. So we're gonna do some rolling, and the first thing we're gonna start with is gunnery training. So we're gonna roll 3 times on chart B1 on the long range column. And if at least 2 are hits, our gunner is gonna get -1 to buy the gunnery skill in the future. So it's gonna be 1 experience point cheaper. So we look at B1 at the long range. We need to roll at least 5, 2 to 5. We don't want to roll 6 or higher. We roll 8. And second time we roll 10. So okay, that's out of the question. That's not going to happen. Then we need to look at the B5 chart. Let me just switch side here. And we need to look at the mud column. And we have a -1 modifier here because it's a trainee modifier. So we need to roll 2 times. And if both of those times are without being immobilized, our driver will have the I4 terrain 1 experience point cheaper. So we need to roll 7 or higher 2 times. And roll a 6, so he's immobilized, so that's also not going to happen. And then we have weapons training. Roll 2d6 for each crewman that has the weapon maintenance as a possible skill. For each roll of 9 or higher, he gets the weapons maintenance 1 experience points cheaper, which is fun because it only costs 1. So basically that means he gets that skill point. So first we have our gunner. And it rolls a 4, so that's not higher than 9. Then we have our left machine gunner. He rolls a 4. And third and last, the right machine gunner. And he rolls a 7. So unfortunately, no one did really great at Bovington Tank School. But that's how it is. We will start with 1 experience point from the tank school itself. We start at the lowest possible rank, which is the first chevron. I don't know if it should point upwards or downwards, so that might be upside down. Then we're gonna go, just choose randomly whichever unit you want to belong to. Choose randomly by rolling, or choose the one that you like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then we have our spare time activities, and you get to choose 1. So you have extra physical training, extra study time, and building relationships, and I always go with extra physical training, which gets you stamina, which helps you downgrade a killed in action result to seriously wounded result, which is worth a lot, because let me tell you guys, if this is anything like American Tank Ace, you're gonna die quite a lot. So that's pretty much it. Now we're actually ready to play in the North African campaign. This is the tank you're gonna start with. If you choose in Bovington Tank School another spare time activity, building relationships, you actually start with prestige level 1 and 1 prestige points. And I believe that you can perhaps start with another tank if you have, because this prestige level required is none. So you might be able to start with another tank. I don't know. I haven't looked at it because, again, stamina is so vital in this game that there's no way I'm going to go with anything else but stamina. So we have this cruiser Mk1A9 tank, which is kind of bad because now, before we start rolling for a mission, we need to load the tank up. So we load up our machine guns with machine gun ammo, and then we get to choose what round we want to have loaded, and then what round we want to have here in our ready rack. Our ready rack has 12 spaces for rounds. However, this little funny tank only has AP armor. So you can see here, stowage, limited ammo. The KF2 pounder only had armor piercing ammunition available. So that's it. Machine gun ammunition and armor piercing are both considered to be unlimited. So yeah, we don't got any HE, we don't got any white phosphorus or any other kind of round. So makes it pretty easy. We want our turret facing at the center, and that's it. Okay, let's go ahead and roll to see what our mission will be. So we'll look at chart A1 mission assignment, and we are currently here in June 1940. Let's go ahead and name our tank. I'm gonna name her Betty, and nickname, I guess that's my name. I'm just gonna write Niemi as the tank commander. And I think you should write the tank type here, so the A9 whatsoever, but I don't do that because I'm gonna trade away from this tank and I'm gonna lose this tank if it gets destroyed. And so, you know, there's not gonna be any space left there. So we look at the A1 chart, and we're in June 1940. So we need to roll 2d6, and we can see there's a lot of green little circles here. And these green circles indicate that we have an Italian opponent. So when we roll for our enemies, we have to roll for Italians, not for Germans. And we can see that every result here, except the refits, which are no battle, are against Italians. So this early in the war, we're not going to meet any Germans at all. So let's go ahead and roll and see what mission we get. And we roll a 5, which is movement to contact. So you put that in your current mission bar. And write down here MTC in our mission log. And then we need to roll on chart A3 to do a weather check, 2d6 again. And we roll a 9. So that's going to be clear weather. So we mark that here on our battle board. And finally, we need to roll for our terrain on chart A5. And we roll a 9 there, so we're going to have open terrain. And in open terrain, we start at long range on a movement of contact mission. Okay, so now that we have done that, we need to roll on chart, I believe, A4. Yes, A4. On enemy force generation chart. So remember now that these are going to be Italians. So we need to roll 2d6 on June to September 1940. And we roll a 9, which is going to be 1 tank and 2 infantry. So the first thing we're going to do is roll on the Italian tank 1940 chart to see which kind of tank we get, 1d6. We roll a 4, so that's going to be a M1139. I don't know Italian tanks at all, so I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a good tank or a bad tank. And I have all of my Italian guys mixed up here, so I'm going to see if I can find it. Pick some infantry out while I'm at it. Let's see, what I say, M1, yep, we got it right here. It has 4 in armor penetration, 3 in side armor, front armor, turret and body, and 2 in side armor. And then when we got that guy, we need to roll for our infantry to see their quality. So a roll of 1 is low quality, 2 to 5 is standard, and 6 is elite. So let's roll for both of them at the same time. So we got 2 standard. So that's the standard with, no, that's the low, sorry. And standard have a 4. And the morale value might have game effects later on if we fight the infantry at close range. So now that we placed, that we know what enemies we have to roll to see where they spawn. So you roll a d6, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. Start with the tank. And he's gonna start over here. And then we roll for 2 infantry. And they're also gonna start over there. That's very convenient. Okay, and now we get to choose, do we want to ride with our hatches open or with our hatches closed? I want to keep them open. Since it's a movement of contact, the infantry might be dug in. So I'm going to have to roll to see if they are. On a roll of 3 to 6, they're going to be dug in. And we roll a 1, so luckily for me, they are not going to be dug in. So now it's time to start playing our very first game. So we have 2 actions to perform, and again this is a movement of contact, and that means we get to do our actions before the enemy. And again we have 2 actions. So my very first action is gonna be to move to medium range, and that also gives me a free rotate the tank movement. So I'll do those 2 things. However, I have to roll on the B5 chart for both of those 2 things, the movement and the pivoting of the tank. And I'm also gonna look for a hold down after I do that. But let's start with these 2 things, okay? So we have clear weather, so, and we are in open terrain. So that means we're gonna roll on the B5 clear column with no modifiers. So basically only a 2 will immobilize us. Close call, we roll a 4, and then 1 time for the pivoting, and we roll 7. So we're in the clear. Okay, and now I am gonna go ahead and try to get hold down. And I need to roll a 5 to 6 to get that. So, and let's see if I have a modifier. Nope. You get a +1 if you have I for terrain, but I don't have that. So I need a 5 or 6. I roll a 6. Excellent. So I'm currently hold down. And then it's the enemy's turn to act, and vehicles during MTC will move to do a flanking maneuver during their very first action. So that means he now has a flank shot on me, but I have a flank shot on him as well. And then we have the infantry, and they're gonna roll. They're not gonna move, they're gonna roll to see if they attack me. They attack me on a roll of 1. And first infantry squad does not attack me, and second infantry squad does not attack me either. So then we go to the end of the turn, where we have to check of end of turn events, or event check chart, and that is B9. So roll 2d6, and roll a 6, which is no event. And that's it, we completed our first turn of the game, and we now move to the second turn of the game. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead, see here, I want to fire at this tank, because now I can get a flank shot on him. So something important to note here is my turret facing. So my turret, it currently says that it's facing B, but that's incorrect because my tank has pivoted, so it's instead facing A. So if your turret is facing A, it can hit targets in D and A. If it's facing B, it can only hit targets in B. If it's facing C, it can hit targets in C and E. So I can hit the tank here at D, and remember, he moved. And one round after he moved to a flanking maneuver, you get a flanking shot at him, but he'll also get a flanking shot at you. So we're gonna go ahead and try to take him out. So I'm gonna give an order here to my gunner to fire the main gun. So we're gonna have to roll on chart B1, which is main gun and anti-tank to hit chart. We roll 2d6 and we see that we're at medium range. So we have 2 to 6 to hit. We have -1 for gunnery and -1 for previous target, but none of those are relevant to us. Then there's a bunch of +1s or +2s, and none of those are relevant to us either right now. So let's hope that I get a 2 or a 6. I roll a 9, so that is unfortunately a miss. I take another AP round from the ready rack. However, now I fired once at him, so I'm gonna have previous target -1. So this time a 2 to 6 is gonna be a hit. And this time I roll a 3. So now we have hit him. So first of all, usually you have to roll to see where you hit them. You roll a d6. If you get a 1 to 2, it's the turret armor. If you get 3 to 6, it's the armor, the whole armor. However, since it's a flanking shot, it's always going to be a side hit. So his side has an armor value of 2. Our main gun power is 5. So our penetration power is higher than his armor. So we roll now on B3 main gun AT penetration chart, and we're going to use the last column, penetration higher than armor. So you can see only a 3 would be immobilized, a 2 would be ineffective. So very likely to take out this tank. And let me just look at the special instructions here so I'm not missing something. All hits to the sides are always side armor, even if hold down. Okay, so let's roll, and we want 4 or higher. Yeah, we roll a 9, so that's our first kill. And we reload with AP. We have nothing else that we could possibly load with. And I'm gonna note here, you should actually write down all the forces that you meet, but I only write down what I kill, because otherwise it's just, I feel like it's a waste of time. So we killed M1139. I have no idea what that is. Again, I don't know anything about Italian tanks. And that's it. I did my two actions. So it's now the enemy's turn. So I'm gonna roll for both of them at once, and we roll 2 3s, so none of them target me. So we go to B9 event check, and this time we roll a 5, which is destroy 1 random Axis AT gun. But there's no AT guns here on the board, so there's nothing we can do. So we go to a new round. If we had any smoke here, we would decrease that by 1. If we had any suppression tokens, we would remove them and so on. But there's nothing like that on the board currently. So we need to take out the infantry. This tank is a very bad tank in my opinion, but it has one good thing. And that is the double machine guns here. And it also has the coaxial machine gun. So it has 3 machine guns. So left machine gun turret can only fire on B and A if hull is facing B. Right machine gun can only fire on B and C if facing B. Takes 1 fire command for both machine guns to engage dead ahead. Else each turret requires a command. So basically I can fire both of these machine guns with 1 order on one of these infantrymen. So I'm gonna fire on this guy here with both of the machine guns. So let's start with the left turret machine gun. We decrease the MG box here by 1. And we need to look up on chart B2. So let's see if we have any modifiers here. Smoke, rain, mud, buttoned up, step loss. Nope, we have nothing like that. So basically anything 9 or lower is gonna be pretty good. We roll a 5. A 5 is 1 step loss and suppression. And that is very good because that means he's gonna die now. Most likely, I should say. So we fire the right turret machine gun. And now this is a previous target, but I'm not completely sure about this. But I think that you only get the advantage with the weapon that you fired with. So I fired with my left turret MG. Now I'm firing with my right turret MG. So I don't think the right turret MG gets that advantage. Anyway, we're gonna fire on B2 chart, and we roll a 7. A 7 is a suppression, and an infantry that is already suppressed gets a step loss, and he already has a step loss, so that infantry is now killed. So we make a note here, 1 infantry squad killed. And we'll remove his suppression marker and previous target marker. So we have 1 action remaining, and we're gonna fire at this guy, same way. So we fire with the left turret MG. And this time we roll 6, which is again 1 step loss and a suppression. And then we fire with our right turret MG. And this time I roll a 3, which is 2 step losses, so he's killed, even without the step loss he had. So that's our 2nd infantry squad killed. And take a note here, this is important. If that infantry would have survived, he would still have retreated. Because whenever you play, if there is just 1 infantry squad left, they will retreat. They will not stop and fight until the death. They're gonna retreat. So whenever you have only 1 infantry squad left, whichever quality of morale, they're gonna retreat. Another thing to notice is if you fire at them and they survive, so let's say I fired these 2 shots at this guy but I didn't kill him, every next turn they're gonna target you. So, you know, the enemy gets to act immediately after you, so he would have fired on me after that, and then for every consecutive turn he would fire at me again. So when you start firing at them, don't change target, kill them. The last thing to note is if all enemies on the battle board are dead or have retreated, you don't roll on B9 event check. So effectively now we have success. So let's mark an S here in our note, and now we're done. What we're gonna do now is to roll for trophies. So we have chart W1 and we have Italian trophies. So we're gonna roll 2d6 and roll a 10, which gives us a Beretta 1935 pistol. Let's see if I can, oh, there we go. I find it right away. And that little beauty you put on your commander status, and you can later use that for trades. So this is free trade points. With that I could get limited availability ammunition. This one doesn't have any it can use. I could get an extra mortar mission, weapon cleaning kits and booze and stuff like that. And yeah, now we're done. That's it. We got our trophies, we killed our enemies, and now we're done for the day and we prepare for another day of battle. So that's it, guys. That's one full day of combat, one mission in British tank case. I think it went pretty good. The first time I played this, I died on the first mission. I got a flank hit from a tank. I had a similar scenario where I think I had a recon vehicle, I had a tank and one infantry squad, and I decided to try to kill the infantry first for some stupid reason. And the very first round after the tank had moved here, he targeted me and he killed me. Because again, you have paper armor here and a petrol engine, so you're much more likely to blow up or catch on fire. So I think all in all, this went pretty well. Guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, because I'm gonna keep playing until we either complete the campaign or I'm dead. If you liked the video, please comment and give the video a like. It really does help me out a lot and encourages me to make more videos. If you want to help me out a little bit extra, you can become a member of the channel, and it costs $2.99 a month, or you can do a one-time donation, preferably with PayPal. You'll find the PayPal address in the video description, or you can use YouTube Super Thanks. That's it, guys, for this time. Again, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.